Hey, let me go ahead and get my Eastside Golf on right now, man. We in here with the founder and co-founder of Eastside Golf, Olajuwon Ajanaku, Earl Cooper, Dougie Fresco, Will Lowery, Beyond the Fairway podcast. We in this thing, man. And guys, y'all really done some shit, man. I'm proud of y'all. I can't even stunt and act like I'm not. We got Earl on a boat, Olajuwon at the Arboretum. Like, where y'all at, man?
Hey, and meanwhile, I'm just trying to get my name chosen in this raffle that I see on the website. So,
Right.
What do we got to do? I mean, how good does this interview have to be in order for me to get picked?
There you go. Appreciate the plug. No, thanks for having us.
Now, you got the new shoes coming out, like you said. The raffle is not too hard. EastsideGolf.com.
No, you know what? Stop. Damn it. I'm going to tell you right now, because I tried to get the original Eastside Golf shoe when it first launched through the raffle process, and I feel like we go back too far for me to not have won the opportunity for me to give y'all my bread. So I just want to say, the hell with both of y'all for that. I'm not pleased.
That's fair. That's a fair statement. I think you're not alone when you say that. You're not alone.
Well, I tried to give them some cheese, and they didn't want. They didn't want my.
They all gone. What you want us to do?
Man, they went. It's not your cheese. It's not your cheese. It's just how late you are. Hey, but you know, as we kind of dive into this thing, man, I feel like we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Eastside brand, we see the glamour and glitz. I mean, obviously, you got everybody jealous because we all want to be where you are in the places that you're going. But I want to get to the root of it. You know, Doug and I, we're always so fascinated, you know, with the brand and what are you guys doing in the golf space and how you guys evolve in the golf space. But I want to know from the how did this thing get started? You know, from taking it from a thought, just a thought, to, you know, put it on paper to, you know, how we arrived to where we are right now.
First off, me and Earl met in college, and we won a national championship, the national minority, down in Port St. Lucie at the time. And afterwards, I turned pro in golf after I graduated. Earl went through the PGM program and became a PGA professional. So did that 2 years of professional golf. You know, it got to a point I just couldn't afford it anymore. You know, I was taking up odd jobs and, you know, I was caddying and a cart boy. I mean, anything you really think of, I was doing it, trying to fund my dream, you know, and I had to quit the game of golf, you know, and start my corporate career. So I was in commercial finance for 9 years and was about to become VP of a finance firm out of San Diego. And I got home one day, I was just like, this ain't it. I want to turn pro in golf, but I knew it'd be hard to find sponsors, you know? So I was just like, you know what? Let me just make a logo. So logo that you see, jeans, sweatshirt, Cuban link chain, black man, it's me. And I was going to put that on my polo and put that on my bag. But then, you know, one thing turned to another. I showed it to Earl. He was just like, bro, you need to put down a t-shirt. So I did end up putting it on a t-shirt. From there, you know, I went downtown Detroit. I maybe got stopped like in 2 hours, like 100, 150 times. Just like, who are you? What's that logo? Where can I get it? And do you play golf? From there, I was just like, dang, I got something. Still don't know what it is, but went back to Earl's, just like, bro, I got something. He was doing his own thing. He was just like, run with it. So I've always been into design. So I ended up making about 8 or 9 different pieces, you know, t-shirts, sweatshirts, socks, umbrellas, lapel pins. And the first 3,000 orders, I actually shipped out from my apartment in Detroit myself, you know. And it was just, I mean, it was tough, but it was what was needed. But at the end of the day, I found out what society thought about Eastside, but it's totally different when you think about what the golf world would think about Eastside. So before I hand it off to Earl, I mean, the main reason that I did start this brand was because I was tired of being told no. Like, I always kept asking for sponsors, kept asking for ways to fund my dream, but it was always no. So why not take the entrepreneur route and sponsor myself? And that's where Eastside Golf birthed from.
Was asking me to go down to the PGA show, being a PGA professional. You know, I was definitely hesitant about it, and I thought it was a dope logo, but I was very unsure about how the golf world would perceive it. And I like to say, you know, just jokingly, we went down to the PGA show and stole the show. I can remember like it was yesterday, and just kind of just people looking at you and the response that we got, and end up meeting some folks over at Clubhouse Supply, which is in Shibuya, or I'm not sure it's in Shibuya, but it's in Japan, and they gravitated to the brand, and they're like, "Yo, we love your stuff." We just kind of exchanged contact information, and they end up taking a chance on us. And I can remember just going back to the hotel and just thinking like, man, you really do have something, which is often a statement we hear now where people are like, oh, do you honestly know what you have? It's like one of
Right.
those,
Yeah.
it's like walking on a kid with a good swing. It's like, do you really know the swing you got? So, and it's like, the swing just wasn't given. So and then beyond that, I mean, we've just been able to really just leverage partnerships and meet a lot of great people and take full advantage of the opportunity. I think, just in general, we kind of take on the mindset of like just not being satisfied or happy to be in a room, right? Like, it's like, all right, you give me an opportunity, I'm going to show you how hard we're going to work for this opportunity or why I'm worth it, right? And then that just multiplies and creates more opportunities. It's never just like, oh, we met such and such. It's like, all right, we met him, but now can we show how hard we work so he can now trust us and be like, you know what? Let me make this call. Let me introduce you to this person.
I want to talk about how Eastside Golf has basically, from outside looking in, become the kind of the official brand of hip hop. Because in the last, I mean, y'all got a better vantage point than I do. In the last year, I'm seeing Jeezy playing golf. I'm seeing Diddy playing golf. I'm seeing Khaled. Khaled is the biggest golf influencer in the world right now.
Hands down.
And there's Tyga's playing golf. Ja Rule's playing golf. There is a litany of rappers and hip hop celebrities that are playing this game, and you guys have been there. So let's talk a little bit about like how you've been the front door of golf to some of the biggest names in the industry.
I would say, I think for us, it's one of those things where they're falling in love with the game. They're falling in love with the brand, but also they have a brand that represents them. And so, I mean, just like any other consumer, they had the opportunity to wear anything in the world, but for them to feel more comfortable. And I think the biggest thing is that when they do, again, that consumer's taking a chance on us. When they do take a chance on us, that it's quality. And that when they meet us also at the same time, they're like, damn, y'all are real people. Y'all are down to earth, or y'all really do play golf at a very high level. So I think it's a combination of factors that, it's one thing to pique someone's interest, but it's those multiple steps that people don't talk about. Because when something happens seamlessly, it seems easy, but it's never that easy, right? It's the fact that they went to the website, it was easy, or the fact that when they put on a shirt, it made them feel good and they got embraced by the community.
I know a lot of generational hip hop. I know they just hit the 50th. They celebrated the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I mean, with these guys, this is something that they can. They ain't playing basketball no more. They ain't playing football no more, and they're into more business venture deals. They're more into, building their network. At the end of the day, and this is how they do it. At the end of the day, they can come out here and play some golf, enjoy themselves, smoke a cigar, have a little drink, but also be a catalyst for something new, for the next generation or their generation, and for my generation on what to look forward to. I mean, use this game of golf to further yourself. And I truly do believe a lot of hip hop artists, a lot of hip hop moguls, they're starting to see it, and they come to us first because we connect with them. We love their music. Not saying other people don't, but it's we stand and say a lot of the same things that they say, and are very unapologetic about it. And one of the things is the truth. We stand on the truth with everything we do, and culture respects that. I mean, you can see that we do that through these shoes that's right behind you. So we're not afraid of the truth.
And I would also say, too, to add to that, got to give a shout out to our big brother, Sean Pecos, because I think with Pecos just embracing us and embracing the brand, and if you know him, he's one of the most thorough human beings that's around, I think, and being that someone that has those thorough relationships within the music industry is someone that's like, okay, wow, like, they're like, man, if Peck is behind it, then these guys got to be real. You know what I mean? And so that also has allowed us to, as we continue to build our network, the folks that we have around us are stand-up people and are vouching for us and have those history with these folks. You know what I mean? And so it's been something. Again, just never taking none of this stuff for granted, man. Like
Absolutely.
that's the biggest thing. Like this kid could be gone tomorrow. All it takes is one thing, and that's something I learned very early on. Right? It could take one line that people have an opinion of you, and it changes everything. But I think the biggest thing was just keeping your head down and just continue to put in the work. Right? Like at the end of the day, that's what's going to show. The work is going to show. You know what I mean? But no one's perfect, and you just got to continue to make sure that you focus, as I would say, on the bigger picture. And I couldn't do this without my partner. Like, yo, I credit Olajuwon, you know what I mean, for being there for me as a friend, number one, as a brother, number two. And just again, just look, man, I don't know how people do it, but partnerships is the way to go. So crediting to you, Doug and Will, what you guys are doing, you know what I mean, and continue to do, like, man, that's the way to be. And I think the more and more we showing young black men working together, it's not enough of that, right? Like we hear about all these groups come together and then they break up, but the beauty is the fact that, like, yo, we're still in here doing it. So, it's all love, and hey, let's figure out how we can continue to keep building that, because we all have sons and want to have sons and daughters, and people are looking up. We went to Morehouse, so let's continue to keep just being that example. And it ain't easy. Look, get on my nerves, just like I'm sure Will and Doug, like I get on old nerves. Like, it's not about that, right? It's about the fact that it's bigger than all of us, and the opportunity that we continue to build is something special.
Olajuwon, we see the result. We see the fruits of the labor, and I think that's all cool, right? And I love it. But I want to talk about tenacity and the ability to not give up, because I've heard you say on multiple occasions you had 300 no's when you first started pitching the Eastside Golf, and Will's been in some pitches, I have as well. When you got the no's, I get like the first 10 is kind of expected, but that next 290 had to be like a kick in the damn face. Like, let's talk a little bit about how you believed and just the process of getting knocked down and keep going, get knocked down, keep going over and over.
Yeah, it's what can I say is best? I mean, it's just something I learned actually through golf. At the end of the day, I mean, I didn't have a lot of things to turn to when I was younger, so the things that I learned from golf I use in everyday life. And honestly, golf is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So anything else that I do isn't as hard as golf. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, in my eyes, like starting a business, going through it, coming up with a business plan, these are things that you can do, and it can be cement, and you can find solutions for it. Golf swing, there's never any one solution for it. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to change. So it's definitely a lot easier in my eyes.
And that's the thing I think is quite interesting, because, myself starting a business, I'm being told the no's. But, I heard Michael B. Jordan say one time, like, there has to be a bit of ignorance, like just not knowing what the hell is going on before you enter something. And, given the fact that, you didn't know where you're going in the space, and being in the apparel business, I mean, it's tough. It's tough cracking that business. I mean, from lack of industry knowledge to, overexpansion with resources, inability to utilize, new media while trying to reach out to new customers.
Just damn different. Like,
just being different. So, and I guess, in the process of, where you started, where you are now, what's the smallest moment that made the biggest difference in your growth?
I mean, honestly, for me, it was when I made the logo. It was the first time I seen that logo and the things that I wanted to see. I've always had the idea, but it's when I saw the logo, I knew that there's so many people that love golf, but then there's so many people that don't know that black people play golf. But then this is just a cool logo at the end of the day. So it speaks to so many people on so many levels. Like, literally, our tagline is "Be Authentic," and it's literally telling everybody just to be themselves, no matter what the color of the logo is. We would wear Ralph Lauren, and it was a white guy on a horse. You know what I'm saying? So either way it goes, this can be a worldwide. At the end of the day, I thought at the beginning of it, I thought this could be a worldwide brand. At the end of the day, I thought this could be something that, people could look to and be inspired by, and just truly, no matter what the color of your skin is, be yourself. So that's what I saw from day one.
And in E, when I see you like kind of, going different spaces and being in different places, hence a little jealous. I wish I was there, but I live vicariously through you. versus, again, where you guys are, what did you think about the brand versus like what has happened? So like when you guys started out the brand,
Yeah, where's the nip and tuck?
Where's the nip and tuck? Because we know everything is not, linear. I mean, in order to be successful, it's a bit of non-linear component has to happen.
I always joke and I tell, I don't think people understand how hard we work. You know, it's like I say like this, man. It's like we never seen Tiger Woods rain sessions, right? You just saw him winning the majors, right? And so you get to see the fruits of the labors, but you don't get the chance to see, what goes in behind the scenes. And in any business, man, you need terms. You know what I mean? You need loans. You need, whether you're selling equity within your own business or you're having the ability to get loans that aren't predatory or having the ability to access the capital. No business scales without capital. So you can have the greatest idea in the world. And so I think for us, just being able to be fortunate enough to tap into some capital at an early age. And then, like I said, understand the ability of like terms and when it comes to the apparel business, right? And not having to pay for everything up front. And because you would need to be perfect. And you can't build a business on being perfect, right? You have to be able to weather those storms. Everything doesn't hit, everything doesn't sell out. You're gonna have inventory that's left over. And so for us, we just been really the fact that people have gravitated to the brand. We respect and treat those people at a very high level. And I would think lastly, just as I always say, just not, I mean, neither one of us are satisfied with just kind of where we are today. Like we continue to work as if, there's, and there is, because there's a lot more to accomplish.
Well, it's interesting, when I look at you guys and Earl, we go back, Elijah one, we go back as well, this notion, and Will and I talk about it often. This notion of growing the game, and I hate the overall just expression because I don't think it says like what the hell people are doing to kind of grow the game. When I say grow the game, this is gonna be for both of y'all. We'll start with you because it's like when you started Eastside Golf, there was an opportunity to grow the game, but now you've grown the game or made it more welcoming and you provided a different option for people to wear when they start playing the game or coming into the game. Has your attitude or vantage point now, has growing the game, the angle or the strategy changed from how it started, or is it still just the same?
For me, yeah, it definitely changed. When I first started with the business, it was more, how big can I grow this business to fund my golf career when I turn back pro. But as time has went on, like I see how much this brand means to people. I see the power of it. I see when somebody, sees the logo, they immediately have a reaction, whether that's positive or negative, but they immediately have a reaction, and that's what we want, And now it's just the more I focus on honestly changing golf society or changing golf culture or what's the norm. I mean, with our brand, it's not about just focusing on one ethnicity. At the end of the day, I'm focused on culture. I mean, if you're into culture, then this brand is for you. If you like traditional, brand probably isn't for you. That's as simple as it is. Like this isn't really pointed at somebody in particular. This is just about what can be different and how do we feel like ourselves out on the golf course. And it literally changed from this being for me to being for everybody else. I mean, as long as I keep that on the forefront of my mind, about change, about sponsoring new golfers. We got NIL deals. We got getting it in front of 16-year-old kids where it's on a video game, but then selling it to where we're at with Chris Paul and his buddies, and they like cigars. We got, partnered with cigar companies, like literally 14-year-old black boys, 70-year-old white men wearing the same pieces of clothing. That's where we are. We're about just cultivating the game and making it something truly where everybody will come together because of culture at the end of the day. So
it sounds like it shifted from it being about kind of more you and us to like everybody as it relates to like how it's changed.
absolutely. I mean, and on top of that too, I will say this. At hindsight, when you see the logo, what it does for honestly a young black boy or black girl, it says that I can be whatever I want to be. Psychologically, it says that. You have this one logo that, when we go into these partnership meetings, I don't want to, my goal is not to talk to the D&I sector of the business, is to talk to the business. And that's where it's more about this logo screams we're about diversity. We don't have to scream it. Everything we do shows that. So that's what it started from me being a professional golfer to actually showing how to change the game. I'm done trying to grow. We're about changing today. And that's what hopefully we're showing everybody.
Where do you see the most opportunity for growth within the game and the culture?
I mean, honestly, just more people into the game, like where they feel comfortable to where they'll pick up a golf club and actually just play the game. That's the hardest part, putting a golf club into their hands. I mean, if we can do that, but I will say this, people that love culture, the one thing they have to do is be attracted to the game. So now we're making clothes to where they'll feel attracted to the game. Now all of a sudden they want to pick up a golf club, and just because of the clothes, because of the apparel, they can take advantage of all that this game has to offer.
O just got finished talking about the culture. E just got finished talking about, not too many people can witness how hard they work, right? Mm-hmm. So let me ask this question. Has anyone said anything about your work, you guys' work, that you see differently? Because we all have opinions out there, right? We have opinions. So has anybody say anything about your work that you see differently?
If you look at, what we've been able to do, what we've been able to accomplish, how long we've been able to do it, the revenue that we've been able to achieve, like, it's not just because Corey Gamble wore the shirt. Like, that doesn't mean that you have a successful business, right? Like, there's a lot of moments that you have. Like, we're beyond the moment. Like, we have 16 employees. There's 16 people that have entrusted Eastside to pay their weekly, monthly bills, right? Like, we're creating opportunity for folks. Like, this is a real viable business that has been around for years and hopefully will be around for years. So it's not like this is nothing to play with. This is no longer just like, oh, this is a little cool idea that O started, now E joined, and it's like, no, this is a real business with a real opportunity, and we partner with real brands. I would say any other brand that that has partnered with Jordan, has a 6-part docuseries on Hulu, and has Mercedes-Benz, how would you look at that? Now, are you giving, like, again, are you downplaying that because it's like, oh, that's just O and E? Or are you like, you know what? Like, if it was Jay and Steve, that's incredible. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's funny. You said something interesting right there when you're talking about the partnerships and as well as growing Eastside Golf. Earl, I want to take you back to Rocket Mortgage. We talked, I want to say it was 2 seasons ago, and I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong in recanting the story, but it was a time where it felt like you shut y'all. And I'm not trying to just talk to Earl, but I had the conversation with Earl. That's why I'm throwing it to him. It seemed like y'all shut down production for a second. You shut the website down. You either changed manufacturing places or I don't know what it was. So when I look at Eastside Golf after that story, or I kind of see it in part 1 or phase 1 and phase 2, is this new phase, and correct the story as I freaking butchered it, is the new phase kind of, did you achieve what you wanted to achieve by changing up whatever it was that you changed 2 years ago?
I don't know if we've ever really achieved ultimately what we want, right? Because I think from the beginning, like, if you know Olajuwon, man, Olajuwon has big dreams, right? And so this was never necessarily my dream, right? He allowed me to be a part of it and join him. And from that moment on, like, there are some very lofty things that we have in place. And until we achieve those ultimately, then I don't think, like, we saw what the potential was very early on. And I think, yes, there are things that we've been able to achieve along the way that has made us feel very good, right? And be like, all right, we're going in the right direction. You know what I mean? But at the same time, ultimately, we know, like, just me being the first African American golf pro at Detroit Golf Club or Wilmington Country Club was never just enough for me, right? Like, I always wanted more, right? And that even, you knowing me back when, when we first met through Wyatt, you know what I mean? Back in the day, and the way that I was carrying it and the way that I was talking about it and the way that I was moving is very similar now. Just, a little bit more polished, a little bit more mature, so I would just say, like, I think the beauty in the fact is that we aren't satisfied. Now we do have big lofty goals, but we know, like, man, if we made it here this quickly, we really look at it like how much more can we actually do, right? What would be the next thing that it needs to take? And we got that coming. You know what I mean? We got a women's line coming that we're super excited about. That isn't easy to do. There's so many more opportunities. We got our invitational coming up. Presented by Mercedes brand. Have a luxury brand like that, believing in us. I mean, look, y'all see it every day. Like, y'all know this space. We know how hard it is to get opportunities, and we just want to make sure that we don't literally, I hate to say it, mess it up for anybody else moving forward.
And E, obviously we support, we big fans, but and this question is kind of more for the young entrepreneur that's out there already, right? The young entrepreneur that desires to walk in the footstep that you guys had already set. I'm a famous believer in saying you can't be what you don't see. Well, you guys f***ed up, because there's a lot of people you guys have inspired a lot of people to do to be where you want to be. So congratulations, whoop-de-ha. So my thing, and that's a compliment, because you inspire me. Like, there's different things I want to maybe do the clothing brand myself. My biggest question I had of myself, in which I'm so scared to put my toe in the water in the apparel business, is the pricing point. How do I know where to price my clothing? How do I know where to price my apparel?
So I'll tell you this: when I first started, it was more about what did I want to see in the brand that I'm creating. I wasn't even, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really worried about price. I would rather me make 20 high quality pieces rather than 80 not high quality pieces. Because once they see this is me that's out there. This is representation of me. I used to literally, and I'll even give you this gem. I used to literally go to some of the sourcing opportunities, the sourcing guys, and there would be a champion sweatshirt, and then there would be the one that's right below it, that's the most high quality. I would literally go get the blank for the one that's right below it. And then, I mean, it's the most expensive because champion is right there. It's probably, I don't know, $5-10 cheaper, but it's right there. And it's something that everybody would want to wear at the end of the day. Why would I wear something, or why would I sell something that I wouldn't wear, or that nobody would spend that high price tag on? And that's the same. That's what we do today. Same feel. So
yeah, and now to add to that, I would also say, I mean, as you begin to like source your product, you're gonna be able to find your number, because at the end of the day, you got to make money, right? Margin. So it's like, if you're buying a product, let's say if it's costing you $25 to make it, then you got to double that. That's going to be your wholesale number, and then you got to double that, and that's going to be your retail number. Because when you begin to scale, there's no other way of getting around it. Everyone's going to ask you, what are your margins? What are your cost of goods? What is your wholesale? These are all the things that at the end of the day, you can kind of work backwards and just understand that fundamentally. And then if you're able to marry the two, right, with the quality and understanding the numbers, and you got to kind of match made in heaven. But in order to scale, you got to know those numbers.
Yeah, and speaking of all this, I love all this business talk. Because you're a finance guy. How did that play into, I guess, your how did your previous role play into Eastside? Because I do want to talk about that. But I got to talk about these too. Whew. Lord Jesus.
I've always been into design. I mean, bro, like I've been designing shoes since I was like 6 years old. That was just a hobby of mine. I never really did anything with it, but I went into college as an accounting major, minor in finance. So prior to this, I was a regional sales manager for a commercial finance company. I financed tractors, trailers, construction equipment, motor coaches. My job was to help tractor trailer companies grow their businesses from anywhere from 5 to 10 trucks all the way up to 20 to 30 trucks. So help them finance that, see what they can afford, look at their tax returns, look at their bank statements, basically doing the same thing that I did with this company. But it's so crazy. It's so wild how I'm looking at even design now. I even break it down to you as I literally sometimes look at the numbers to design, like what actually works for us. When you look at the numbers, what are the pieces that have the highest sell rate or burn through rate for when it comes to this color, when it comes to white for us, when it comes to the spring colors versus the fall colors versus the summer colors, even the collab colors. When we start to really break those numbers down and see what works in between each sector, it makes my job easier on the design side to now say this is what we should go after. This is what we should really focus on. This is what works. You
That's
know,
crazy. That's crazy
yeah.
to
I
think
mean,
that that
it's
shit really,
yeah.
really like you had like doing that gig really stepped you up. Now, I don't know how Earl got into this shit as a politician in the in the day.
Whole politician.
No, but I mean, just to even add to O's point, I think, and kind of give you a golf analogy, it's like you also got to go with the game, right? And what I mean by that is you may love hitting a fade, but you hit a draw. Why are you trying to continue to hit this fade, right? And it's almost to me in my business like when you like what's selling, what's doing well. Like you can't force people to like anything, right? And so if people are liking something, understanding why they're liking it, understanding what your strengths are, understanding what your weaknesses are, to me is the key to success. Like there's so many people that we see and they keep like, well, this is my dream, this is my dream, I'm gonna keep trying. And it's like I'm not here to say to give up on your dream, but I also am here to say, like, listen, you may want to play to your strengths because then it may allow you an opportunity to really go after your dreams. But if you're not playing to your strengths and you because if you're not good at anything or not good at something, it's just gonna make it very difficult and it's hard to arise, right? Like at the end of the day, like I told, like what we're doing, we ain't the first people to even attempt to try to there have been many folks that have tried and had a brand. I think the difference is the fact that we work really hard at it. We've had a lot of great partnerships, but they've never just been satisfied with just a partnership. Like we don't want to just be known as the brand. Oh, we did the Hulu docuseries, or they just did Jordan, or they did this. It's like nah. We want Eastside Golf to stand on its own, and when you speak of it, hopefully you speak of it holistically.
Olajuwon, let's get into this because this Jordan 1 high right here, it's it's dope, but it's got this change on it. Now let's get into this a little bit because what what are we changing? What is this supposed to represent in this shoe that's about to drop?
Yeah, so the next set of shoes, set of collaboration shoes that we have coming out with brand Jordan, it's the collaboration is called Change 1961 collection, and it signifies first off 1961 is when the Caucasian only clause was lifted by the PGA. That means prior to 1961, no person that wasn't Caucasian could be a PGA professional nor play in professional golf tournaments. So after 1961, it was progression forward. That's what the PGA was looking to do, just press forward. And then, we can actually take part. But actually, prior to that, I would even say 1952, not to speak on 1961, but 1952, Joe Louis was the first black man to play in a PGA sanctioned event. But I just added that on. But 1961, it's mainly about where we were at the end of the day. I'm not here to, badger anybody or make anybody look bad no, it's just the truth. It's where we were. So how do we be purposeful and know where we were and be intentional on how we move forward? That's what this entire thing is about. How do we move forward and make the game look different, make the game more comfortable just for not non-traditional, but just culture at the end of the day. And things like this, stories like this need to be told. Stories like this are empowering, and it shows, like I said, where we were at one point, and
Has
now
this
we
has
Unless
got.
you
this has this
unless you
has
live
this
in
has this
Florida.
has this campaign ever served as a educational tool too? Because I can only imagine how 1961. What happened? Come again?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go first and I'll let Earl, but we definitely have a rollout when it comes to these shoes as well that will be educational. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, it means a lot to me because even at the end of the day, I won't get political or anything, but there are literally some states that this rollout, it actually can't be shown. You know what I'm saying? Like by
Yeah,
law.
by
You know what I'm
law.
saying? Like,
That's
so
why I
it's
said that when I
like,
put the shoe back. It
Explain
was
that.
like you
You
can't
got
talk
go
about this in the state of Florida.
go deeper on that.
nah,
What does that mean exactly?
it's just when it comes to certain things that we can talk about, when it comes to law, we can't talk about it in certain areas.
That's
That's
crazy.
just the law. So, but to move forward, when we talk about these shoes and the education, we're just here for progression. That's all we want, and we want to work with the biggest companies to do that. We want to be respected as a real company and not just, I would say, sometimes the black-owned company, but a real company that has an opportunity to make change on what we see, and not just pushing us to the side and seeing this as, some fly by night. Like, no, let's take this serious and let's be intentional.
No, I mean, I think, as being a PGA professional, definitely aware of that date. I can remember just the conversations, even, Doug, take it to, when the George Floyd Black Lives Matter movement happened, and the conversation that, I had with Seth Wall on that stage, and just being very frank and upfront, and just kind of, this is something that, for me, have always been kind of fighting that fight. You know what I mean? And trying to make sure that, like, black PGA professionals are represented at the highest level, and having that blunt conversation. And so to be able to now have that conversation with on a footwear like Jordan, I think it's unbelievable. And it's
Now,
something
Earl,
that,
talk a little like because what I find fascinating is I feel like you, kind of apart from Eastside Golf, you the PGA professional, you've been extremely vocal about the lack of black PGA professionals. I remember that interview you did. I mean, the numbers that you had, I think you did the math all the way down to like an eighth of a percent of 29,000 with in the rate of the black professional. No, the question is like how being vocal and standing up for what you believe in, the lack of diversity that you saw, but standing up to a power like the PGA of America, man, how was that received, and how, I guess, how have you continued to kind of navigate this governmental body?
No, I mean, I think number one, I mean, it's definitely something that has always bothered me for a while. I think the second point I would definitely, is definitely to have a partner like Olajuwon that has supported me, you know what I mean, through it, and pushed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were conversations that we had, very early on about that. Like, nah, you need to say that. Like, you're in a position, you're a PGA professional. That's something that you need to speak on. And so, and even folks like Wendell Haskins, you know what I mean? And having a conversation with Wendell, like, yo, no, you need to do this. Like, young rumble, young man, rumble, you know what I mean? Those sorts of things. So I think it's just a thing where, like I said, I've always been very fortunate. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've been able to build a lot of relationships and experience a lot of things, but I've also never been satisfied as just being the only one. Like, that's not an achievement, right? And so, for me, I lived it. Like, I did it. Like, I'm a PGA professional. I knew what it was. I graduated making $24,000 a year. Like, I worked at the PGA Golf Club. It wasn't sexy. You know what I mean? Like, it's trying to find housing in Florida during the winter is not sexy. And then going to Detroit and working your ass off. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's more of a thing of, I lived it. I did it. I have so much empathy for anyone that's out there doing it and working behind the counter and working on that tee sheet and working in that cart, like working as a caddy. So for us, like, we definitely continue to bring all of those experiences. And now don't forget that now because of where we are today, right? Like, these are still the same. We're having the same conversation that we were having, those back then, still now, and just trying to create more and more opportunities as we continue to move forward.
Well, speaking of opportunities, damn.
Will got beat drops and everything. My man is out here DJing this episode.
He brought up the Eastside Golf.
I did. I was like, I get my shit right.
I got an MC.
Yeah. So speaking of like
we leaving that in too, Will. We leaving that right here.
Shit,
In this
I don't
episode.
give a damn. Hey. Speaking of shoes can't go into Florida and all. Let's talk about California, where the shoes are definitely going to be seen. let's talk about the Invitational. What is this Eastside Golf Invitational? We heard about it. Do we have an invite? That's the first thing.
Yeah, let's be honest. Like,
I mean, that's the first thing.
Look,
how much is it gonna cost me and Doug? That's the second question.
How much is it gonna cost NBC?
So first of all, let me just say this: it's a fundraiser. We are raising funds for.
And that's what everybody say when they know they ain't trying to pay nothing free. Hey, it's a fundraiser for charity. It's for kids.
We ain't giving shit away.
Look, we don't. Y'all would do the same thing. That ain't changed. It is a fundraiser, but for us, we're super excited about it because we've always wanted to do a golf tournament, and we just felt like this was the right time. You know what I mean? We have 3 shoes. They're all golf shoes this year. We also felt like, again, not just choosing the city, but we chose, went over the historical significance of San Diego. And it's going to be amazing, man. I'm super excited. We're amazing to have a partner like Mercedes-Benz stepping up as a presenting sponsor for a cause like this, and all the remaining of our other sponsors that are coming in. But no, man, if y'all in town, pull up, man. Y'all always welcome.
See that's a haphazard invite.
If
y'all in town, pull up. If you're around,
you here. If you out here,
hold on. Now we just can't offer you a spot, because then all my paying folks, they're gonna be like, "Yo, what's going on, man?"
They ain't gotta know. They ain't gotta know.
They ain't gotta know. Okay.
See, you know what though? If they don't know, guess what? It won't hurt them. It won't hurt them.
This is what I got to deal with. But no, I saw the post about the event, and it's funny because as a fan and knowing y'all, I was sitting there thinking, why the hell are these boys going to San Diego when Eastside Golf is a representative of East Atlanta? So, what the hell are you going all the way out to damn San Diego for this event?
Yeah, so like I said, 1952 in San Diego, that's where Joe Louis broke the color line for being the first black man to play in a PGA sanctioned event. Basically, there were some gentlemen, I believe, like Bill Spiller, tried to definitely qualified for certain tournaments, and then the next year or the following days, they're turning into invitationals, and so things like that would happen. And Joe Louis actually took it upon himself. Well, I'm just going to go there and they're just going to have to tell me no, so in 1952, he was the first black man to play in a PGA sanctioned event, and that's the significance. It was in San Diego.
Okay, all right. So we're going to San Diego with Mercedes then. All right, I'm gonna need a car. I'm gonna need a new outfit.
There's gonna be a lot of that. Look, we're gonna have an Eastside Golf pop up. You can buy clothes.
Let me tell you the difference between
Mercedes there, so you can drive whatever.
Yeah, let me tell you the difference between me and Doug. Doug wants a car. I just want a courtesy car for the day. That's all I want. Just for the day. Just for the day, courtesy car, as if I was on some type of tour.
We don't want to rent a car. That's his problem. He really thinks it's back in the Chitlin circuit. I get it, Will. I mean, it's the new Chitlins. They come already clean.
Oh,
they prepackaged. Sorry. Let's talk about it before we get y'all up out of here. I need to understand something, because I see. We've played in some tournaments, and one thing I do want to commend you for, is no matter the size of an event, you've made yourself available to be at. From APGA events you've been playing. I saw you at the HBCU Classic recently, and I want to give you your flowers though, because no matter the scale, you're on these huge grand stages, but you still at the very bottom. To steal one from you, Earl, you still getting it out that red clay. So,
hey Dougie, hold on.
I appreciate that.
Dougie, before you stop, we talking about being on the grand stage.
I already stopped. Now you cut me off. This is the shit I got to deal with.
All right, well, deal with this one. And this is a funny story, right? So, speaking of Earl being on the grand stage,
I knew he was coming at me. I said, "Here you go."
So, hey Dougie, let me tell you about your boy E Money. So, we're playing in the Hoopty event.
Oh my goodness!
In Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to Fred Whitfield, president of the Charlotte Hornets.
Yes.
And so the way the event is set up is it's a 4-man scramble. Top 4 teams goes into a playoff, and then in the playoff is alternate shot of the team. So you got to pick one to take the drive, the fairway, the putt, and the putt, however, alternate shot.
Or the chip in your case.
Or the chip. Yeah, whatever it is. So now what happens is everybody in the tournament who didn't make it all grab their golf cart and they all surround the tee box. So things get a little hot, get a little nervous, right? Over years past in Fred's tournaments, again, hoopty, people should not have been there. Like Too Tall Jones. He shouldn't have been there one year, but it was the funniest thing. Too Tall Jones, maybe two. Y'all probably too young for that. So
he's too tall.
So O and I, we elected to hit, on our team.
I love how you just already.
I got to isolate you.
Wrong direction.
Let me tell you.
Not on our team. How you say O and I?
Yeah, O and I. Because I made it to the playoff. Yes. Obviously, Eastside, they made to the playoff, and two other teams. So I elected to hit it first. I want to make sure my team gets in the fairway. Boom. Piped it down the middle. O piped it down the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, O even hit a recoil. I ain't never seen nobody hit a
Earl be getting that thing back, don't he?
That's
Hey, Will. So, Earl spin it, or Elijah wants to spin it from over here too. He don't have a cool one.
Hey, so let me tell you this. So we all end up going par, and then now it got down to the final two, and Earl was set to go on the 18th hole. Everybody on the damn tee box. When I never see this man heartbeat so damn fast, dog. This dude was so nervous, bro. He was shaking like booty meat. He was shaking.
Oh no!
And so everybody like jonesing on him. It ain't Eastside today. It's Westside Golf today, cuz. And so I'm like, Earl gonna step up.
Westside and cuz. Oh, this is a whole.
Hey, Doug. I'm like, Earl gonna step up today. He gonna step up. Man, that motherfucker went straight out of bounds, dog.
now, hang on.
Oh, yeah, you gotta come back.
I love how they tell the story. But you know what? You know what I'm gonna say? You should have been there. They want to hear the real story. They just should have been there. Because you're right.
No, it don't get no real in this, dog.
It don't get no real in that.
Hey, dog,
it's an amazing event.
Yo, that ball's still going right, Doug. It's still going right.
Oh my God!
It just landed.
That ball on the south side. That ball on the south side now.
That ball came back to him, dog.
Hey,
all right.
Well, that's cold-blooded how you just did that to Earl.
Hey, look, don't say that because then they might make a T-shirt saying it's still going right.
Hey, that's gonna be Will's first drop right there. It's still going right. Westside Golf.
Yeah, it's still going right.
Hey, look, I tried to collab with Elijah one time. He just looked at me like this. Yeah, that's an idea. That's an idea. I was like, damn. I thought.
But that's a question too.
Situations like.
Hey, how many times? How many? For the record, set the record straight, because I know y'all get this question all the time from friends, family members. Y'all got an idea? Can I collab with y'all? So because I'm right behind everybody, cause I got an idea too. I want to collab with y'all too. You know what I'm saying? So how do you navigate when is a good idea, or we just ain't messing with nobody?
No, I mean, it's clear that we're not messing with nobody. I wouldn't say that I would say that
it's clear we ain't. Earl says clear we ain't messing with nobody. That's it.
No. I meant to say
that's the truth is coming out.
It's clear. We ain't with nobody.
It's clear we are partnering with folks. I think it all depends. I think it all depends on what you want to do. That's what I would also say. And I think for us, having, as I always say, getting it out the mud, there is a process, right? There is a process. Not at the same time, I think as we continue to grow our brand, what I would say is here's my honest truth.
Boy, switch it all up. Come on.
You have to be in alignment with where we want to go. You can't just come to Eastside Golf and want to switch the direction, right? So you came to us. We're very focused on the Morehouse College golf team. So if someone came to us with an idea to support the Morehouse College golf team, then we would say, you know what, how can we make this work? But you can't come to us and be like, you know what, I want to do wildlife. It's like, bruh, like I know you're passionate about wildlife and I appreciate that, but that's not what we're here. That's not what our focus is. So we're a very focused and intentional brand, and it has to align. If it doesn't align, then 9 times out of 10, it's just not going to work at this point.
Just to go a little deeper, I mean, at the end of the day, it is very hard to have a business that makes change and makes profit. at the same time.
Yes, it
You
is.
know, that's just a very difficult thing because what we're focused on, it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, we do have to make money to pay the employees, but that's how we make change and be the ones that's in the room to actually do that work to make change at the end of the day. You know, but it's very hard to do that. So at the end of the day, it's just about what do you want to see in the world that needs change. You know, I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot of, if you're willing to work on changing the world, it's a lot of money to be made in changing this world for the better. I'll say that.
All right, since we're here, Will, we got to get these guys up out of here because Earl is on a boat. Olajuwon is at the Arboretum, so we got to get them back to doing whatever the hell they doing. But we got to get you out of here the only way that we know how. We call Rap Foursome right here on Beyond the Fairway podcast. And it's a unique question for you guys because you've actually played with a lot of rappers. But you're going to go play a 4-ball. Excuse me, you're going to play a 5-ball. So 4 rappers in you. Olajuwon, I'm going to start with you. Who you going to pull up to the course with? Dead or alive? They don't have to even play golf. But what rappers you pulling up with?
I'm gonna pull up with Jay-Z, pulling up with 50 Cent. Got to.
Didn't see that one.
Then I'm gonna pull up with gotta pull up with Drake. I gotta see that swing he got. Yeah, Drake.
He got 2 gloves though. You need to check his ass for the 2 gloves.
He does have 2 gloves, huh? And then lastly, Andre 3000.
Ooh, that's a first on Beyond the Fairway right there, and I respect that a lot.
Yeah, I get some new names in there.
I like that one right there. Okay, all right.
Who you
50.
got? Who you got, E?
Yeah, I'm going with Jay. I'm going with Fabulous. I'm going with Meek. I'm going with T.I.
Meek.
Yeah, Meek Mill. Yeah, for sure.
I just felt he'd be too aggressive for the golf course, personally. Like
I mean,
you know,
but he's just my favorite. He's one of my favorite rappers. So you know what I'm saying. It's just.
I mean, shit. His
I need to
nightmares.
take a breath.
His nightmares. We need to on the course.
His nightmares became true. So I want to talk to him too.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
We can't thank you guys enough for what you're doing for the game. You're growing the game, and you're helping us touch different parts of the golf space that we probably can't touch, and we're kind of riding vicariously through you guys. So
no, man, it's a team effort.
It is. But you guys are definitely paving the way, man, and we definitely we take heed to what you guys are doing. We thank you. We can't thank you enough. And we thank the team that are helping you guys. I know it's not just you two.
Please.
You guys have a great team. So continue what you're doing. Fight the good fight with faith. And we are standing here in support of all that you're doing, man. And
that's right.
And don't stop, please.
No, thank y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for having us.